And away we go. What's that from? That's from a Disney movie, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I say it a lot, and I sometimes remember what it's from.
I have no clue.
Which this makes me laugh. So we took him to his Shriner's appointment this morning, and they always have to ask, like on the way in, this whole list of, has anyone been in contact with this? Had you have body aches? This, like congestion, but like all the like headaches, aches, fatigue. And Jed and I look at each other like we're in our mid 30s and we have a baby. Like, yes, but no, for all intents and purposes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, like with me just coming off of COVID, it feels very strange because the CDC says like you only have to quarantine for 5 days now. And
Uh-huh.
that and it just feels so weird. Like I came back to my coffee shop and I feel like everyone's saying, like, should you be here? I'm like, I'm not, I don't know.
I know. Well,
And
like even like Shriners was so strict the whole first 3 months of like taking him there with, masks and everything. And they still ask those questions, but as of a month ago, all of a sudden they didn't have masks anymore. Like it was
hmm,
literally from one week to the next. We've been there like both weeks. And same
yeah,
with like the pediatrician's office, like all of a sudden didn't have masks anymore. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's a weird thing. Like I if I mean it's fine. I mean obviously it's fine. They wouldn't have set it so low if it wasn't fine, but it feels weird. Like I'm just like I hope
After 2 years,
yeah,
three
after
years,
2 years
whatever it's been.
be home for 2 weeks. Anyway, it's yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so we're here. We're coming off of Thanksgiving weekend.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, we haven't recorded in like 2 weeks, and a lot, I feel like a lot has happened for you in those 2 weeks. It seems like to
yeah,
me.
yeah. I mean, COVID and missing out on my family Thanksgiving that I was really looking forward to was one of them. I kept thinking like I really here's the problem. Okay? Like I should have been fine. I could have been fine, but I had this thing in my head because if I look back at the history of Thanksgiving, my favorite Thanksgiving ever was in 2010. Jay and I had just got back together. I had hated every Thanksgiving up to that point because my mom would like always make me write a poem and be grateful and all this stuff that I
That's right.
why is there so much pressure on this holiday? Or I'd have to like serve like my stepdad would throw these elaborate parties and I would be working the parties where his girls would like be floating around and mingling. And I'm like, why is this Cinderella? Like this is literal Cinderella happening right now where I, I'm washing the dishes and whatever. So I did not like Thanksgiving. And then
Uh,
2010 came
Wait, I
and
did not know that's what your Thanksgivings were like
yeah,
before. And it's crazy because like I associate Thanksgiving with you. Like like
me
in my
too.
mind, I think of you like as a Thanksgiving person.
Well, it's because 2010 everything changed.
Yeah.
That's yeah, like no, they were miserable before. Like the literal I'm not even joking. We had 30 people at our house because Gary's like, "Oh, there's people who don't have a place to go. They can come here." And my stepdaughter will feed them. Like, what? I mean, he brought the food, but we had like all these huge carafes out and I just had to clean. And I finally at the very end I'm like, "Mom, I've been going all day. Can I go hang out with my friends now?" And she was like, "Yes," because she knew I was working super hard, but whatever. So 2010, I'm back with Jay. I'm living in New Jersey for like 6 months of my life just to get back together with Jay and experience the East Coast. And true seven form, when I had freedom and no responsibility, I was just wherever the wind blew, I went. And on Thanksgiving, we went like we had Thanksgiving at his dad's side of the family, and then we left there and drove out to like the farmlands of Pennsylvania, like the rolling hill lands where his aunt lives. And she lives on, I don't know, I probably like an acre at least. And like it's right on a hill. She has older house. It's so beautiful. It's just like the warmest, coziest house. They have this fireplace that is the hottest. It heats the entire house. It's like just insane, right? And we go there, and as soon as we get there, there's like a lemon drop cocktail waiting for me. We play games all night. At, I don't know, 1 in the morning, we all leave the house and go Black Friday shopping. It was just a blast. Like, it was so fun. And Jay got this, everybody remembers it as the year Jay got the blazer, because he got this blazer like at a super discount, and he comes out and he like twirls in the parking lot and everyone's just like, it was amazing. When we come back, we spent the rest of the weekend relaxing, sleeping, eating leftovers, whatever. Like, cocktails were endless, games were endless, and just like the best Thanksgiving ever. That is probably what inspired my Thanksgiving wedding, like, which is why you associate Thanksgiving and me.
Yeah.
But what happened?
Wait, is today? Is it today or tomorrow? Or when?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, my anniversary is tomorrow. So I haven't gone back to Barb's since. Like, that just lives in my brain 12 years ago as the best Thanksgiving ever. And when we said we were moving to New Jersey, that was like mid-pandemic. But when we told his Aunt Barb, she's like, Paul, the kids are coming back for Thanksgiving. Like, I didn't even say that. She's just like, they'll be here for Thanksgiving. And so, but then, pandemic and all this stuff. So we haven't been able to do it yet. This Thanksgiving, we were able to. It was still going to be small, but it was just going to be perfect, intimate. I could not wait. And then Wednesday, I like all week, we'd been kind of feeling a little off. Wednesday, I'm like, I better test just in case. And it was COVID and we didn't get to go. And I just kept quoting Rachel when she didn't get to go skiing for Christmas. She's like, swish, swish, swish. Like, that's all she wanted to do. That's what I kept like moping around the house going swish, swish, swish. In my, nobody else heard it. But anyways, that was my, but the thing is, I put so much pressure. Like, I had a lot of expectation. And I think when you have a heightened expectation, if things don't go your way, it just puts a lot of pressure on the situation. So
I feel like that's a really good topic for today.
I
mean, we all do that on various things, like these huge expectations on holidays, on relationships, on jobs, like on children. Like, we have these high expectations, and then when like, even if the tiniest thing happens, I mean, COVID's not a tiny thing, but like, it was okay, I'm sick, so I can't go. And that just like, how do we handle that? We can handle it really well. We can handle it gracefully. We can pout. We can swish, swish. Like, there's so many different ways. And I don't know, I think that's an interesting thing to discuss.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've set my expectations low because, oh my gosh, can you hear the gardeners that just showed up?
I can't.
Okay, good. Recently I feel like I've set my expectations lower with all things. Like, it's just easier to not have expectations because then you can go in and just enjoy whatever comes, right? Like, that's a much simpler approach to things. But when it comes to tradition and, I mean, I think it's also okay to get your hopes up for something. Like, both Jay and I were super excited for Thanksgiving. And like, I don't think it's good to live in this life where like you don't get excited anymore because life can happen. Like, that's a bummer.
I heard this on one or two different podcasts in the past week that I was listening to. One where it's like, the tiniest wrench gets thrown in and like it completely threw the person off. But also another conversation about like setting expectations low or not having them, but then at the same time, like, you don't want to not have hope. You don't want to, because like either direct, like either too far in either direction. And what's the point? Like, what's the not what's the point of living, but what's the point of living? Like, if you don't expect anything ever, so therefore you don't have hope for anything, like, that's not fun. But if you have too high of expectations, you're always going to get let down somehow.
Right. Yeah, I think it's about a balance. I think like there's something Jay always says, hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Oh yeah.
Like that's his motto of how he lives is like,
Mhm.
and I think that's a good balance, like having hope, but
Having
still like knowing that, I don't know. I still don't even love that because I like to
well,
just best always.
yeah, but I think like the most optimistic way to look at that is okay, like hope for the best, of course. Plan for the worst, meaning like you have whatever to fall back on. Like you know that you're going to be okay no matter what. Having that mindset and whatever system in place for whatever the falling back on is just okay, like that didn't happen. I know I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not a like plan for the so yeah, like plan for the worst doesn't sound great, but it's more of a I'll be okay no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, like that sort of situation of like uh how your mind says to like, sorry, let's start this thought over again. It's interesting how your plan for the worst is to just have the mindset of I'll be fine. Because when we were leading up to Thanksgiving, before we had taken the test, Jay is like, he said something like, "Oh, I'm sick again, and I'm just gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick on Thanksgiving." I was like, "Stop talking like that." He's like, "I just have to plan for the worst." Like that was his way of mentally preparing himself so he didn't get his hopes up too high. And
Uh-huh.
I don't think I don't think that's good because especially too,
Yeah,
like you're speaking
no.
negative affirmations over yourself, which are not good. Like you have to hope for like you have to hope for them.
He was missing the hope part.
Yeah, he forgot that part. It's only you're only planning for the worst. You've forgotten the first part of your motto. So
Yeah, I mean that
yeah.
like that was that was and so often is like a discussion between Jed and I. It's like yeah, I get you're planning for the worst. Nothing's guaranteed to last forever, nothing's guaranteed to always be great. But if you only expect that, that's exactly what's going to happen. Like there's no chance for the
Mm-hmm.
good to happen if you don't have hope for it or try for it. Like
Yeah.
you have to have the hope and the mindset like okay, this can happen for it to have the opportunity to happen.
Yeah.
Like thinking of it in like more logistical terms, like hoping for to get a job that you really want. Like you have to hope, want, and put in the effort, like submit your resume, follow up with like a, good positive attitude in order to get the job. If you just like say, oh, I really want that job, but worst comes to worst, I don't get it and I'll be fine with the job that I have, meaning like you didn't put in the resume or follow up, probably not going to get it.
Yeah. Well, I think like I mean, I feel like people, so there's like a few different routes that people would take in the job situation. One is, oh, I won't get it anyway. So they don't even try because it's easier and more comfortable to say you're not going to get it than to actually get rejected. In which case, I would challenge you to see what happens if you get the rejection. Because what if you don't get the rejection? And what if you actually get it? Like, you're never going to know if you're beating yourself up. And beating yourself up about, oh, I wouldn't get it anyway, is just a self-sabotaging technique that's holding you back from like what you're fully capable of. But the other step is saying, like, submitting the resume, but still thinking, oh, I'll never get it. But that thought process is putting you, like, whether you believe in affirmations or not, just by you saying, oh, I probably won't get it anyway, it's putting you in the mindset of I won't get it anyway. So that way, like, you're not giving your all at the interviews. You're not like just shining like the beacon of light that they're looking for, which you can be if you just remind yourself that you could get it and that this is like a strong possibility for you. So
Yeah.
I had another thought. What was it about hoping for the best? Preparing for the worst. Oh, I know what it was. So I think another thing that really helps with the preparing for the worst part, like that lets you fully have the like as much hope as possible, is gratitude. Like if you're just grateful no matter what happens, right? No matter like you can hope and hope and have like the highest expectations, you're going to Disneyland, it's gonna be amazing. And no matter what happens, if you have gratitude about the situation, no matter how the chips fall, then it's going to be good. Even like
You
it
always
may not
win.
be as amazing as you were expecting and anticipating, but it's still going to be a great weekend or a great whatever, which kind of happened to me this weekend because so the first day I was like bummed, and I also was like putting a lot of pressure on watching the Macy's parade. I'm like, come on, we gotta at least do this. And the Arrow was throwing a fit all day, and that was tough. And then Friday he was throwing a fit all day, and then Saturday he started to like improve a little bit. And Jay told me he like didn't touch his phone all day. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So he had like attention, full on attention from Jay anytime. And so I did the same thing on Sunday. I didn't touch my phone, and neither did Jay. And Arrow's attitude was so good. And I realized, like, one of my friends had sent me a reel about when kids throw a fit, sometimes it's just that they need attention. And I'm like, I think this is what it is. I think he's been throwing fits lately because I've been in my phone way more than I need to. And the fact that like me and my husband unplugged all day Saturday, first of all, or all day Sunday, first of all, Arrow got the attention he needed. Second of all, we were able to spend quality time with our kids because we weren't in the phone. And third of all, at the end of Sunday, we both were like, it was Sunday and Thursday were polar opposites. Like Thursday, I was getting in my phone to distract myself from like the miserable situation, the tantrumy kid, all of it. And then on Sunday, we like decorated for Christmas. We spent so much quality time together as a family. And Sunday night, Jay and I went to bed. We were like, wow, our lives are so good. After coming off that huge disappointment, we just had to like recalibrate, like check ourselves and remind ourselves how good our life was and put our phone down. And it totally, totally changed the outcome, the final outcome of the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like, I mean, we're both very big on gratitude. I was thinking about like coming back to the prepare, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Like I did that even just in my current life situation, like buying this house and like living. I was hoping to do it with a partner, the whole shebang. Like, everybody has their place here, but also preparing for the worst because of what I was going through at the time and still whatever. Um, like, okay, like I need to make sure that I can handle the house on my own if that
Mhm.
is what happens. Because also, of course, going through what I've gone through in the past, the divorce and everything, like I won't allow myself to feel that much fear over like being able to live again. Um, so that was mine, like preparing for the worst and just like going, like, when I got the house, I was like, I am so freaking grateful I have this house. Whenever I'm feeling down at all about like the situation, I just go, like, I am so grateful for this amazing house. Like, I've built up a community here and outside of the neighborhood that I was looking for and wanting and hoping for and kept showing gratitude for because I knew it was coming. Like, I know it's all good. I know more good is coming. And that keeps me going, even though I get like really down. I get anxiety. Obviously, I've talked about recently, I have my issues that I'm meditating through. Um, but like having built up that good mindset and being able to, that's my system I fall back on, is being able to be okay even like when it feels like it sucks the most, I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like gratitude can help. I need to like any morning I wake up and I'm just kind of feeling down because sometimes you wake up and you're just sad and who knows why. Like maybe it was what
Mhm.
you ate the night before, maybe it's like the state of the world, whatever it is. When you wake up and just feel sad, it really helps me to go through and say like I'll wake up, I'll be like, oh man, I'm still feeling whatever. And I'll just start saying all the things I'm grateful for. And it doesn't necessarily fully shift my heart, but it gives me the energy to get out of bed and to keep going. And it reminds me of that there is good in the world, which I think sometimes we really need that reminder.
Yeah.
That's what our podcast really be called. It's all about gratitude. I feel like we talk it every episode, which is a great thing. I love it. I
Well,
absolutely love
you're so not alone. Like, be grateful. No, I was trying to tie it together.
it.
You know, it's there somewhere.
It is. It is. So
I'm grateful for this little nugget.
he's so cute and fluffy. Oh,
Dude, he is huge.
yeah.
Huge. You're
How much?
huge. Huh?
How much does he weigh now?
A couple of weeks ago, I weighed him like full on naked and he was 16 pounds.
Mm.
So he's on track to be as big as his sister was at 4 months, if not bigger.
Nice.
We will see.
Nice.
Yeah, expectations, hope. There's always got to be hope. Like, I feel like, oh, excuse you. You hear that?
Yeah.
No, oh, excuse you again.
Big burps.
Like there, if there's no hope in any given situation, like that's the like yeah, what's the point then?
Yeah.
Like, I know, and like kind of what I've been talking about in therapy lately is like I always am like looking to the next, like what's next. And it's funny because yesterday there were like two different Instagram posts that I saw about around meditation and like and anxiety. And I think that one of them was something about high functioning anxiety. And it was making me question, like, maybe I kind of have always been this way. Because it's like they're always looking like what's next, what's the next thing to work on, but it's really a trauma response when you're always needing that next thing to look for. Because like I was always like, oh, like you hope and you grow and that's the next thing. So there's always got to be like the hope and growth and whatever's next, but also being okay in the now
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
whatever the now is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm a seven. Seven's litter. And that is because like the future is a distraction from the pain of the past. So yeah, I fully understand that. But I do like, I mean, sevens are always positive and optimistic because they have that hope, which is a good thing. But like there is a balance. Like you said, you've got to be hopeful for the future and not regret the past, like accept what happened in the past and then appreciate this exact moment. I mean, again, going back to like putting your phone down and just soaking it in. Sometimes what you're soaking in is uncomfortable feelings, and that's really hard to do. To deal with whatever sort of emotions you're dealing with. Like I mean, on my way to school, I have to drop off Arrow and then drop off Gray. Gray started crying as we were walking to drop off Arrow at 8:15. He did not stop crying until like 1 minute before we got to his school at 8:45. It was 30 minutes of crying, 30 solid minutes of crying. Mm-hmm. And I tried calling my mom. She didn't answer. I'm like, all right, I guess I can't escape in my phone. I got to just deal with it. Right. And this sucks. It's just part of motherhood though. Yeah. 30 years because he didn't want to wear his jacket.
Oh man.
Which by the end of the tears, he didn't have on anymore because we were inside and in the car. So, whatever. But
it wasn't about the jacket.
No.
It never.
Fun. But I mean, and it's hard. It's hard to listen to a kid screaming the whole time. It's hard to walk with a screaming kid in front of a bunch of people who may or may not be judging you for it. Like there's all sorts of, I mean, it's just, but this is part of life. And I think that's what makes life so cool and beautiful is the fact that we're going through it. There's things that get thrown our way and how do we handle those things? Sometimes not so great. We learn from that not so greatness. We get to apologize if we've done anyone wrong in the not so great responses, and next time we get to do it better and be kinder humans, and that is what it really is all about.
Yeah, I think we did it.
I agree. Do you want to wrap?
Yeah, sure. Well, we didn't have an opener, but we appreciate that you have joined us again on our podcast. We obviously just love having conversations and going with it. I think not having the expectations, but having the hope and knowledge that we always do something and we always are proud of what we're doing. So I think that works pretty well for us. So maybe you can find a little area of your life where you can practice that too. If you love our podcast, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever. Did I just say subscribe? Yeah, I said that properly. Felt like I said it weird. Wherever you are listening to us, because that will help it grow, and not even just grow, but it'll help other people discover it. If you like it, other people will like it. Like you are so not alone in liking the podcast and getting something from it. Other people can too. So we would love for you to do that.
And head into this week and try to find places where you can put your phone down more, have a little bit more appreciation for the exact moment you are in this moment. But also remember, like, it's okay to hope for the future. It's okay to let go of the past, and it's okay to live in the exact right now. All of that, it's a balance. It's not easy, but when you find that balance, it helps to just get through no matter what life throws your way a whole lot better. And if you struggle with that balance, remember, you are so not alone.
Bye.